Okay, so I hide the light.
And connecting.
Gosh.
Mm. And we are live.
Hey.
Here we are. Hi, Lisa.
Oh, somebody joined already.
Yes. And hi, Claudia.
Hi.
Nancy. You ladies on the chat, I would love to hear where you're from, just to start a little conversation. And if you can hear as well. And in the meantime, I'll get also Claudia to speak a bit so you can also hear her. Hi, Claudia. Thank you for accepting my invite here.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
Amazing. So if you guys don't know Claudia has a Substack called Unrushed, if I'm not wrong, Claudia. And because July is slow July and we're talking about how to live our life at the right pace, and that rushing through everything, work, personal life, is not necessarily the best way to live. So we're wrapping it up today with Claudia, and we're talking about how to unrush in life, in work. What are the benefits of that? What can help you in be living a life more attuned to your natural rhythms?
Mm-hmm.
And let's see how much time we have. But I would really love for you to put in the chat where you're from, like just the city you're in or something like that. And if you can hear us, and ask questions. If you hear something and you're like, but what about this? What about that? Just put it in the chat. I'll try to have my eyes peeled on questions coming up so we can take them and answer your questions. So with this said, I think we can start. And I think before we go too deep into the topic, I would love for you, Claudia, to tell us a little bit about yourself and about your publication.
Okay, so I'm Claudia, and so you were asking the others to put in maybe in the chat where they're from or where they're sitting. So I also say this quickly about me. I'm German, but I'm living in northern Italy, but in the German-speaking part of northern Italy, which exists. Many people don't know. So I created the publication Unrush, The Power of Slow, and basically as an online and an in-person retreat and event business or movement, actually in a way, to help people face the hurried and rushing world we are in with greater confidence in their ability and their power of slowing down. I'm also running a photography events business with emphasis on creativity and learning to see. And I'm just mentioning this because I see a big connection between photography and slowing down, because through photography, you actually, with the tool of photography, it's an amazing tool to slow down. Then quickly back to the publication or the business of Unrush. What I envision with this is I see how many people want to slow down, and we had this conversation also before, you and I, but they are afraid of it, or they are very hesitant because of all the pressure around us, on people, society, our bosses. So I want to give with Unrush the people basically two things. One is like evidence or sources that this power of slow works. And the other one, more importantly, is building up the confidence to go slow, which for me goes back to your self-awareness and your values and paying attention.
Hi, Katie. Thanks for joining. Thank you, Claudia, for the presentation of Unrush. I love the layers in it about the events and the retreats, and also the thoughtfulness behind it. And I think what we've discussed also last time is that not rushing nowadays is so unnatural to us, unfortunately. Or maybe our nature is to live in a normal human rhythm, but society and the demands of modern day is kind of pushing us towards a different type of extreme. So I would love to hear from you how you kind of got interested in this topic, and why do you think this is something that would benefit everyone so much?
Well, I got into it maybe various aspects, but I think it goes back to I'm coming from marketing and advertising, and over time I got a little bit annoyed with the speed, especially in that market, and the superficiality of the
Mhm.
way how companies and the markets operate and how actually people interact with each other. So I notice people not take care of themselves. They don't take time for others, if it's their loved ones or if it's their employees or is it the community. And they don't pay attention to what's happening around them. So they don't take care really to or have a sense of situational awareness. So all of which is basically paying attention. So that's where I came from. Um, I think paying attention is a really important part to how you live and create your life and work. So paying attention to yourself, to others, and to the world around you, which basically means you you create your life. You're the creator of your life. So you not only react to what happens around you, but you want to be the active one. And I see a lot of people not doing this, and then I got really kind of almost upset about this. So I wanted to kind of dig into that. And so I got a little bit deeper and finally got to the point. Actually, the source of all this I see is that we give in to all this rushing and hurrying and taking control back to us is in there why we slow down. And so that you basically, you become the creator and the active one of your life according to your rhythm, what you also already mentioned, to rhythm, what fits to you, to your rhythm, and not let the others direct your life or the rhythm of your life. And that's how I got kind of into it.
I
Well, you
love
were talking about the benefits, right? Um,
Yeah, I think the benefits are also something super important to talk about. But I just wanted to underscore what you said about the fact that one of the benefits, I assume, is the fact that you get to decide your life instead of be pushed from behind, or be kind of on the river of whatever's happening, and you're just rushing, rushing, rushing. You don't have any time to stop, decide, and move towards the direction you want to go in. You're just kind of taken over by inertia, by societal expectations, by what your boss wants, by what other people want. And when you rush, we all know when we rush, we make mistakes, we cannot focus properly. You make not ideal decisions sometimes because you're just too rushed. So
right,
this is it's basic things that we all know, but we also don't know because we're so rushed, right?
right, yeah.
So talking about benefits, Claudia, tell us more. Tell us more.
Well, I think that's you already mentioned it by saying what we got ourselves into. And if we slow down, we have the benefit of taking time for ourselves and better listen basic to our bodies, to our what our mind and our body is saying. So we live in a healthier and happier way. The benefit is that we we approach or we interact with other people in a different way if we take the time even to talk to your neighbor or take time to slow down and take time the benefits with your employees so they feel heard and the benefits then they will work better and be more enthusiastic if they have a boss who slows down, take the time, listen to them and let them be. um, Same, we think clearly. Like you mentioned, we make better
Mm.
decisions if we slow down and actually think deeper and weigh the options, how to decide. I mean, how many decisions are made so quickly and bring us disasters, if it's in a
Yeah.
personal level or is it on the worldwide level? So,
Yeah. So I used to work in law in different IT companies. So it was double rush factor. I was supporting sales teams that were on a quarterly rhythm, and sales people, I don't want to disparage anyone, but they're quite famous for being impatient and wanting everything yesterday. And on the other end, because it's legal issues and contracts need to get signed on time and things like that, I was also rushed from that. And I managed to keep the pace for a really long time. Then I burned out. And I realized that I wasn't giving myself enough rest. I had been working 6 months, like basically all the time, not only for work, but, also my family life. I was taking care of everything, making sure I was doing everything. I had no more time for myself. I didn't have time to slow down, or I felt like I didn't have time to slow down. And I think that's an error that we can easily fall into, the fact that we think we don't have time, and that slowing down is gonna make us miss out on things. But in reality, if you think of all the decisions you take being rushed, it's maybe decisions that actually don't really necessarily benefit you. If you think of the parental principle that says that 20% of your efforts give you 80% of your results, most of the things we do every day on Substack, off Substack, for our family, for our work, is not producing as many results as we think. It's kind of busy work. If you stop and you really think, you analyze what once in a while, what am I doing? What's giving results? What isn't? We'll actually realize that, yeah, slow down pays off. And also, it's not about being slow all the time. It's not about becoming snails. It's more about honoring the fact that we are humans, not machines. That if you're rushed, you're not going to maybe notice a micro expression on your child's face that actually speaks that even though they say they're fine, there's maybe sadness or fear or worry on their face. And also, teaching your child, seeing you rushing this way teaches your child that this is the normal way of living. And to be totally frank, I don't want to show that to my daughter. So I actually started Substack, or no, I didn't start Substack because of that, but I stopped working in a normal job because I would rush so much in order to deliver my daughter to school, and she would be so rushed and stressed. And then the same thing a few hours later when I was picking her up. And I decided I don't want to live my life like this. I don't want to rush through my relationship with my daughter, and she's 4. Like these are precious times that fly by so fast, and I'm just squandering them because I want to do what? Send some emails at work. And I didn't want to have that conversation with my boss. Oh, today this happens. Oh, sorry, I'm late, or things like that. So I decided if I work for myself, I don't need to explain it to anyone. I can live the life, the rhythm that I think is the best for me and my family. And I'll make the money that I need to survive in the time I have left before my priorities. And I think this speaks to one of the values that you speak about that would kind of bolster, encourage us to take charge of our life and slow down when we need to slow down. Don't take decisions right away, but pause. Things like that. And I would love for you, Claudia, to open up a little bit about how can we build up the guts to slow down?
Um, well, I think for me, it goes back to self-awareness and your convictions and to know yourself. And I think you just mentioned with your example a good example, knowing your values. So I think it's one thing that we say, okay, we have to slow down, or we can meditate, we can do this and do that. But that's, I think, is the next level. I think the first level before that is to first understand yourself and your values and what's important to you, what matters. And you gave a good example. Like you said, it's a high value for me now in this period of time that I spend time with my daughter, that I see her growing up. So you have a clear value here. And sometimes people don't even think about these things. But I think that's the first step. Be aware, become self-aware. What really matters to you now in this phase of life? And these things can change, of course, over time. And or for example, this self-awareness or this knowledge of yourself. Take an example for me, it's very important to go out in nature and take a walk and have some time for myself. So I know that this is important to me. So I'm really aware of that. So I built this into my day. Or for example, when I was working in advertising, it was crazy life there, obviously, but I made it a point because I knew it's important to me to go out and take this walk. Um, and so I think these values, how you more think about it or get more down to it, there are different things. What you can do is think about your character, for example. So one thing we talked about the values. Okay, you try to think about what matters to you. What are your values? Another thing for me, I found out is what kind of person or personality are you? For example, are you an introvert or an extrovert? It makes a lot with you if you understand who you are. For example, for me, it's clear I'm an introvert. We're not never one or the other extreme. But as an introvert, well, the difference between the two is how they pull energy and how they re-energize and recharge again. And it has nothing to do with, oh, I'm shy and the other one can jump on the stage. That's not the point. The point is how we actually feel in life, how we interact. And for example, as an introvert, for me, it's important. I need my downtime. I need, like the crazy advertising agency, I know in order to be the rest of the day energized and motivated and keep on working, I need to slow down in between because that's how I recharge and then I be fit in the job later on. But to first have to get to this point to understand who am I? What kind of person am I? And I got over time really aware of what makes me or what is important to me. So I function, let's say, in a positive and happy and energizing and productive and contributing way. So I think that's some examples. Yeah.
Yeah. I think of going back one step to values. I have an exercise from my coaching business on finding your core values. And I think it's very interesting. Basically, just look for values. Just do a Google search for a list, like a PDF of values. And you're going to find lists with a lot of values there. And try to circle the ones that most represent you. Let's say 10. But when you read those words, they're like, oh, this is exactly me. Family. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have one ready here. It can be whatever. Courage. It can be saying the truth. It can be serving others. It can be anything. Look at a list and circle the ones that you think are describing you. Then take each of the ones that you've circled and ask yourself, are there any circumstances I can imagine that would make me act contradictorily to the value that I circled there? So if I put here family values, are there any circumstances where I would put my family to the side because of this? And if you find that, yes, there are circumstances where you do that, and I'm not talking about one-time thing when you're like working while your partner is, I don't know, cooking there. I'm talking about big life choices. Then you know that that's not a core value. If you compromise on it, then it's not a core value. It's a value that is important to you, but is not core. So I definitely invite you to do this because it will help you guys and really understand what's important for you. And from this, you get to, one, build a career that's more aligned with your values, because as you go into your job that you have or into a new job, knowing kind of what is important to you, because that's what values are, but like intrinsically important to you is so important for you to feel happy in whatever context you're considering joining. And the same about the existing work. If family life is very important for you and you know that your present job is not really allowing you to have the family life, I'm not saying quit your job, but you can think of ways to negotiate with your boss to maybe work from home more, or get some extended vacation time after a really tough project that you've been delivering. You become more intentional because you slow down once in a while, take some me time, and you make some decisions and find some strategies to pull towards what life you dream of. Because if we just let inertia take us, we don't know where we're going to lead. And we want to decide on our life, not just be victims to whatever happens to us.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's the exercise about values. And I think if I don't remember wrong, Claudia, you wanted to speak a little bit about courage as one of the core values.
Yeah, well, courage, or I think, the courage to stand up against all this pressure and this hurry we are getting exposed to, and have the courage to stand up for your desire or your lifestyle you decide for to slow down. But this courage, I think, goes back to understanding, for one, okay, what to see, we can see it already outside in the world, how slowing down works, and so many phases, examples, and we read about it and so on. But the other part is with ourselves to have that courage. But that, when saying building up this courage, I think is about understanding yourself, what I'm standing up for. Then I have the courage. Like, let's say this example, what you were giving, you were saying, okay, then I'm now changing my life, and I have the courage because this is so important with my daughter. Well, for me, it sounds maybe crazy, but for me, it is. I'm obsessed with being outside and finding my time for myself and take a walk. There's no compromise on it. I go take the break from work and do that. So, but if you're convinced and know your values and what is important to you, what you like and don't like, I think that helps to build up your courage. So it's the information you have, that knowing it has a lot of benefits. There are examples out there. There are companies who are doing this. There are countries who are doing this. There are people who are doing this. It works. And then say, okay, what's important to me? And then stand up for it. And like, I think if it's the values, it's how, like with your work exercise you were saying with the list. I love that. I also did that in the past, and it sometimes changes also, like you say. Exactly. Yeah. I think another way also to figure out things about yourself is, do you really know what you like and don't like? Think about this, and because sometimes you meet people who say, well, I don't really know if I like this or that. I mean, if you don't really know yourself, it makes it harder and harder to be courageous enough to stand up for something you believe in. Or if you look at your end of your life and imagine you're at the end of the life and look back, what do you regret and what were you happy about? It tells you what is important to you. What's, like you were saying, what would you compromise? What you're not compromising? What would you in the end think, oh my God, I really didn't take care of my friends? No, this is important. Like for me, friendship is super important. So I make space for this because I know it's super important for me. And what benefit it has, how much good it does for me. Or you go back to the beginning of your life. Think how we were as children. What were you doing? What were you crazy about? What were you loving? Were you more quiet? Were you the adventurous type? What were you crazy about? That tells you things about yourself. And maybe these days think, oh my God, I totally forgot about this. Is actually me. I forgot that in rushing in the world, like rushing to the final line. But if you don't know these things, then it's harder to be courageous,
and advocate for yourself, right? Because that's kind of what we need to do. Advocate with our bosses, with our family, with our friends, with whoever. or how we think we should do things and how fast and so on. Um, I really love all the insights and especially about courage. And from my point of view, not only knowing yourself core. This is core to how we should be, knowing ourselves, always discovering ourselves. You need regular me time in order to be able to know yourself as you are today. You can get informed by your childhood because that's when we were the most authentic, the most ourselves, and that we've kind of molded and kind of distorted maybe over time because of schooling, because of experiences, good and bad, that kind of molded us into something a bit different than how we came on this planet to be. But it's important to know our past. Another thing that's really good with courage is if you start with small steps, action creates more courage. Saying no to one task that's like the task that is kind of filling the work glass and spilling it over, saying no to that one task or saying I will do it later or things like that takes courage, but not too much. And once you do it once, you build a bit of courage to do some other courageous things. So also action on going towards the path you want to be on is so important in order to unrush your life and also make it more authentically you. And I was trying to say, if you go slowly, you reach faster. You get there faster in the end. But I want to say something else. If you go slowly, you reach a better place, not the speed of where you reach it. You might reach it faster too, but you reach a better place because it's the place you decide on, because you're making attentive choices as to each of the things that you want in your life or you don't want in your life. How much stress do you want to have? How much work do you want to do? I know people that I've coached or friends of mine that have made midlife career decisions where they didn't want to take a director role or a VP role or whatever because they knew that would be a crazy stressful job. And they decided they're fine with where they are and the role that they have now because it gives them the time to spend on music, on hobbies, on family, on whatever is important to them. And every type of choice is okay. The fact that I decided to move from a classic job into a being self-employed and just consulting, maybe from the outside and to my boss, it looked quite crazy. But to me, was very much, it made a lot of sense because I knew what was important to me, because I made other small choices before. And this was just the natural culmination of what I was thinking, what I was planning, and what I wanted to do. And that's the point. We don't live our lives for others, not even for our spouses. We need to be very present into our needs, who we are, what it is, be very honest about it. Of course, diplomatic sometimes and caring and compassionate, but true to ourselves, because that's the only way to really live in the pace that you want, to go to create the life that you want to live and enjoy and love and wake up and feel energized about, so you can speed and rush towards your goals once in a while when you feel like it, and also then stop, assess, and be like, do I still like it? Is it working well? Should I do some more of this? How can I improve it? But there's no such way if our only speed is 100 kilometers an hour more.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, if we don't pay attention to these moments, then you miss it. You know, I mean, you're running by, and then you are at some point saying, "Well, what did I just do? What did I see my kids growing up?" I just pulled up in a quote which fits also what you were saying. Happiness is caused by what we pay attention to. And I think that really nails it. It's from Paul Dolan. It's actually the author of the Happiness by Design book.
And it's what we pay attention to, but also how we perceive the world around us. Because if you, let's give a very simple example. A friend of yours, you text them and invite them out, and they say, no, sorry, I have plans. You can receive that as a personal affront to you, and they secretly hate you and they don't want to spend time with you. Or you can say, okay, they're busy. I'll try another time, and go about your life. You decided how to feel about that interaction with that person. So it's about what you focus on, but also kind of you decide if you want to feel good or bad about things. And if you say, oh, this person has something against me or is not prioritizing me, so doesn't think I'm a close enough friend to spend time with me, or whatever these things we create in our head, it's most of the times untrue. We don't know what other people think. If we did, it would be a much easier world to live in. Maybe. But we don't. We just create these
No,
stories in our head, and that is the
exactly.
choice that we're
Right.
making that can tarnish, that can make our life more unhappy. If you just accept things for what they are, because you're at the speed that you actually can look and analyze things, then your life will be much less turbulent, less with fewer problems, with fewer negative emotions that maybe didn't even need to be there.
Mhm.
Speaking of negative emotions, and speaking of work and rushing in and rushing at work, because that's kind of the bigger problem that we're facing. I feel like everyone can slow down on vacation, or maybe not everyone, but many of us, and things like that. But when it comes to work, it's a bit problematic. And I wanted you, Claudia, to tell our listeners about that example you gave me about that company that's one of their values about living life at a human rhythm. I think it was Patagonia.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about that and how
Okay.
companies can create a culture for the company that's more aligned to a slow living?
I think meanwhile there are a lot of businesses out there who even call themselves mindful businesses, who take in the idea of I'm taking more care of my employees.
Hmm.
Also, this old adage of the customer is king. They say, no, 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 my employees are king. Because if my employees are not my first priority and I make them happy, they're not treating our customers like kings. No? So they really um, listen and they take the time to take care of their employees. Um, so they are happy because then, as a consequence, the benefit is also actually the customers are happy, or they build better products and services. As to Patagonia, the founder, I don't even know how to pronounce his name, Ivan Chuina, um, he, way back when he started, because he came also from um, outdoors and sports outdoors and so on, and he started a company and he wrote also a book about it, I think, Let My People Serve or something. So for him, it was clear we're creating this company, but I also want my people to be happy. So if they need a break, for example, there's the right wave now out there to take a surfing, let them do it because I know afterwards they are so motivated and enthusiastic and energized and probably even have ideas, come back to work and then be even more productive, no? Or creative and so
Yeah.
on. So I think that's a great way if you really work together with your employees in that way. But also if you are at work and trying to unrush a little bit at work, which you were talking about for maybe some other examples. I mean, sometimes it's simple things like making notes with, like you were saying, you have a pen in your hand, right? Pen and paper. Write all your thoughts or notes or your to-do list on paper. It slows you down. And plus it's proven also the connection between your brain and handwriting. It makes something with you.
Mm.
Things stick better in your head. It calms you down if you have too many things to do. That's one example. Or take your lunch break. Don't just sit at your table and eat, but go out, take a walk. You know, get use. It slows you down. It helps you to I don't know, feel better about
Mm.
yourself. You return refreshed to your table, to your desk, for
Mm.
example.
Yeah. We were talking the other time when we were planning this live about the fact that a lot of people would love to slow down, but they feel the pressures outside, or the ones that they think exist out there, are pushing them from behind, are making them rush through everything. That's the rhythm of work. That's what my boss requires of me. Or if I don't do it, my colleague will, and then I'm going to lose out on that promotion. There's a lot of fear intertwined to slowing down, um, standing up for what's important for us. So I wanted to kind of just mention this, that we definitely, when you're feeling like you cannot slow down and so many things are happening, very important to name your feeling. Like literally in your head, think, oh, I'm afraid. What am I afraid about? I'm afraid I'm going to get fired if I don't take on even this task on top of the other one. And then you should ask yourself, am I really going to get fired if I say no to this? Or if I say it the right way, is there a chance that at least I get to postpone some of my other tasks? Because a lot of the things things escalate very easily in our heads. We're kind of built to focus on the negative and also take it to extremes that are almost unrealistic, right? But if you stop, you slow down, you go for that walk, you analyze what thoughts are in your head. Why are you rushing even though your soul wants to just say no, or I need to pause this project if you want me to take this other one on? Then you'll find arguments, strategies, and everything you need in order to do the work the way you think should happen. It might not work all the time. Maybe the arguments with your boss, or like the arguments you give to your boss, are not strong enough for them, or there's an urgency there. Many times you'll get a compromise solution. But the only way this will never happen is if you don't ask, if you don't stop, you don't slow down, you don't stop to think what you need, create a strategy and apply it. The only way that your life is going to continue to be rushed is if you accept it like that and continue on unchanged. And I'm not talking necessarily about meditation or any more spiritual practices, yoga or things like that are naturally slow, walking in nature. I do a lot of watercolor, which is very, very slow. You need to wait for the paper to dry many times to add another layer of paper. It's very, very slow. It's very, very sensorial. You need to spin around the brush with the colors and test it and see if it's the right shade, if it's dark enough, and put it on paper, see what happens. And you can do the same with life. You can think about things, create scenarios of what's really plausible, and then decide what you want to do, and then apply it to paper, then apply it to your life. That's what slowing down is. And it's one of these intrinsic human things that we're losing because of the rushed way that we're living our lives. And now, sorry for the metaphor about watercolor. If I talk about volleyball, then I'm going to talk about all of my, what's it called, obsessions. Oh, speaking about volleyball, now that I said, actually, to play really good volleyball, you need to be really slow. And you think, what? You don't need to be slow to play volleyball. It's a really fast game. That's not true, because if you rush and you make a step in the wrong direction, you're already too late to reach the ball because you just went the wrong way. You need to actually slow down in order to play amazing basketball. You need to slow down to play any sport. And there's a very good example from Leonardo Messi. They actually thought that he would be a terrible professional player because he was so nervous. He was, especially for big games, he was extremely nervous. Then they devised with his coach a strategy where for the first 3 to 5 minutes of the game, Messi didn't have to do anything on the field. He could just kind of trot a little bit around the field, figure out the players, how they're moving, what's going on, what the strategy, read the other team, and then decide what to do and how to play the rest of the game. And he became, as we all know, one of the hugest football players out there. And his superpower was slowing down.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, if you take the example of soccer, it is a good example that you need both slowing down and being fast, reactions. But you can only react fast if you first slow down and you know where's the closest of your players, where's the closest player of the opposite game. And you have to have this situational awareness, for which you need to have the calmness to really be aware of this and look. And then you can
And then you don't.
react,
Yeah.
respectively. Yeah. So you need
Two ladies speaking about soccer. I love it. I love it.
it's a world language.
Exactly. And I think sport in general teaches us so much about being aware about our own bodies. For example, I was forced to slow down and not play volleyball by a knee injury that I'm still recovering from. But I took it as my body saying, you need to slow down. I mean, you cannot have like a million projects happening at the same time and also go play volleyball I don't know how many times a week. Yeah, you're the CEO of your own life, but like you're still a human being. So slow the heck down. So I did, and I got to talk to Claudia. I got to connect much more with my community. And maybe that's something that I would love to talk about next is the speed of growing on Substack, because everyone is talking about let's grow, let's get 1 million subscribers in 10 days, or I don't know, these kind of ridiculous things, how to grow our um our subscriber list, how to promote our publication. We want to grow fast. And to be honest, of course, there's a part of me that wants to grow fast, but to be honest, I wouldn't grow fast just for the sake of it. I I prefer to be in the rhythm that I am, to know my subscribers, to know what they care about, and develop something that helps them. Because me writing here stuff that I think about that doesn't reflect anything that anyone else is going through is not helping anyone. And then I should just start a new diary and write in there. But I'm doing something bigger than that. I'm trying to, you know, show the power of slowing down, the power of taking time for ourselves that I call me time, in order to decide, pause, decide, and then act towards our career, family, whatever you have on your mind. And that's a different way to approach life, and that's what I want to talk about. But I need to hear feedback from other people and how they view things in order to create something that's meaningful. And if I just get obsessed with growth and I start, I don't know, taking all kinds of practices that people take in order to grow, I'm kind of losing the plot, and that's not worth it. So, and that took me slowing down and thinking about it, because I was feeling a bit sad seeing some people that kind of started more or less at the same time with me on Substack and seeing that they have thousands of subscribers and I don't. And I was feeling a bit bummed about it and feeling like, maybe I'm not doing a great job. Maybe people don't care about what I'm feeling or what I'm writing or what I'm offering. And at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter the speed that we grow, as long as we're following our authentic selves. We're writing about things that are important to us. We take time to grow, to read books, to share knowledge that's tested, that's real, that's important, that's worth sharing. Because just for the sake of it, just pumping out content, pumping out notes and things like that, is just a hectic way to experience this beautiful thing that you can build on Substack.
No, exactly. It's like what we said in the beginning. It's what I experienced in advertising agencies, like the superficiality at some point. It's like bring fast, bring things out. It's all about quantity, not quality. So
Yeah.
this is basically the same. We want to go deeper. We want to um, produce quality, and things that people really can take with them and move something in the people. But that's not when you just churn out stuff, but it has to be some with substance, So
I think we talked about a lot of beautiful things, and I would like to maybe discuss at the last part of our conversation a little bit about your retreats, Claudia, and what you do with your subscribers to kind of encourage this slow approach to living your life. Do you have anything that you want to say that you didn't say it yet?
No, I think most things actually said already, because the things what I encourage people to is what, and like you say, we find in my publication is that I bring out examples and stories of what works out there in slowing down, and the other part is about writing just awareness and your mindset of finding to yourself and trying to be with yourself in order to build up this courage to join the movement in a way, of slowing down, because there's a lot of people who want to do this, but we need to be more of people who stand up for that, so that the more I do, like you said, with the action steps, no? So the more people actually do it, the more power we have to change a little bit our environment, of course, in our own life. And again, just back to taking control of how we want to live. No? If you want to live the rhythm of your life. Yeah. So that's what you find then online, my publication. And then I'm planning a sort of retreat for several days in South Tyrol, which is the northern part of Italy, like in really, in the middle of vineyards, in a beautiful old kind of house, and where we can just not only slow down, but basically this is about the building up this courage and talking about their values, or basically you go in the mountains, take a hike, and get a little bit coaching while you're doing this. And having some work sessions where we figure out about our values, about what's important to us, how we build our courage to take it on this world that is too fast and slow down.
Sign me up. Sign me up right now.
Okay.
It sounds amazing, and I miss the mountains. It's very flat in Denmark. I'm based in Copenhagen, and there's the mountain in Denmark is 500 meters. So I miss a bit of impressive nature. I love the mountains. I'm going to Italy, so I'm going to get some beautiful nature soon, but south of Italy. But before we go, I wanted to mention something about me time, and that is that Slow July is ending, but of course the principles and the things that we've learned continue. I'm going on a vacation, so I'm going to slow down a little bit, and what you'll see from me is kind of just beautiful things about living the dolce vita down in Italy, and slowing down to recharge. So a little bit of slowing down again. But then in end of August 25th and 29th, we're going to have do sessions. What's a do session? It's a session that I will lead with a checklist or a to-do list made by me based on a lot of courses and reading and things that I've done to monetize Substack, to build your irresistible offer, or I call it a no-brainer offer. So you can start making money from your writing, from your Substack. So I sent all my subscribers information by email. I already have some people interested, so it's super, super excited. So if you are, check out that email, see the information there, DM me if you have questions, and I'm happy to tell you more. And last thing I want to say, please subscribe to Claudia's publication, Unrushed. And if you're not subscribed to Me Time, I invite you to join me here. And we're going to learn how to work efficiently so we have more time to live a life that we love living. I didn't rehearse this very well. I didn't rehearse it at all. Thank you so much, Claudia, for today, for joining me.
Much, Noemi. That was really nice. Thank you so much for inviting.
I love it. Claudia was a bit nervous because it's her first live, so I'm happy that yes. Now you've done it. You're a pro, so you can do it a lot more. I definitely invite you to do it. It's a lot of fun. The one thing I miss about not working in a company is not having direct contact with people. So this is my little way of still connecting to really amazing people, having very similar values to mine, learning from one another, sparring. And that's what I want to do about do sessions, because it's not me telling you what to do. I'll give you some information, then you slow down, decide, and put it into the love work that is your Substack, that is your publication, that is your writing, that is your business. And then we get to spar. I'm going to create a special space in Substack that's going to be just ours for do sessions. So you're going to be able to publish stuff that you're preparing there, and people can give you feedback, and you do the same for them. I'm preparing so many amazing things so that we're not kind of excused by all of the things that we want to do and distracted by all the million notes we need to write and all that. And we can really focus on what's important for us for our publication and take it in the right direction. I have to tell you from the beginning that when I started focusing on monetization the right way, I saw results quite immediately. And when I went on the river of the inertia of just answering this person, writing this email, connecting with everyone, I don't know, things like that, just random things that draw my attention, nothing happened for me. It's all about intention and working on the right things. So that's what I want to spar with you about, work together, and then the amazing results that can come from just slowing down, focusing, and building something intentionally.
Absolutely.
And with this being said, and I'm sorry for the promo or thing, but it just launched today, and now that people see my face, they can hear a little bit about it. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Thank you for listening to us about slowing down. We took it really slow. We spoke for like 50 minutes, if not longer. But that was kind of the point of having a conversation, sharing our thoughts, and hopefully it inspired you to have the courage to slow down when you need it so that you can get to the life that you want to live.
Exactly. Thank you so much. Make slowing down your lifestyle and be a rebel for it. That's what I
love that. Yes, I love that. Thank you again, Claudia.
Thank you.
Have an amazing day.
Thanks, you too. Bye.
Take care, guys. Bye.
Bye.